from Screen Junkies Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore. Today's episode is brought to you by America's Best Unlimited Network. Don't miss a show with unlimited data from T-Mobile.
Thanks, Epic Movie Voice. What the crap? I'm not Andy Signore. I'm Hal Rudnick, you guys. Thanks for joining us on Movie Fights Live. We have some epic fights, some great fighters, a first-time fighter, and, man, so much good stuff is going to be happening today. Some of the great fights we've got include who'd be your worst choice to play James Bond, what's the best comedy of the decade so far, and which movie character would have the best Instagram account. If you'd like to join the conversation live on Twitter, go to #MovieFightsLive, all right? And let's meet today's combatants. First, he's been on TV fights and all over Screen Junkies. It's DJ Woolridge. DJ.
Oh, that's me.
Have you done anything to prep for today's fight?
Not enough.
Okay, we shall see once the battle commences. Second, he's a fan favorite fighter who hopefully won't have a nosebleed this time around. It's Brett Ehrlich.
Yes.
Calling you out, man.
I might have a nosebleed.
I hope you do have a nosebleed, actually.
You know what?
If I'm being honest.
And that nosebleed was a product of all the cocaine you did to get jacked up for movie fights, right?
I've done more today, so maybe we'll get a double nostril leakage.
You are so jacked up for movie fights.
I did some prep myself, but I ripped it in half with my cocaine strength.
Oh, man.
This is the opposite of my preparation.
I did too much. It means I'm going to lose again, and I've never won.
There's no drug testing here on movie fights. And this man has been taking HGH for weeks in preparation.
You can tell.
And he's making his movie fights debut. He's a writer, super funny comedian, actor. What don't you do? It's Darian Sills Evans.
Hello, I don't do dishes.
Okay, yeah, neither do I. Dishes, glasses. I once moved out of an apartment and I had a sink full of dirty dishes for like a year, and I was just decided I'm just throwing all the dishes away.
It's often the safer move with single guys, I think.
Yeah, sometimes you got to. Over right there, he's going to be fact-checking, holding it down on the couch, Lon Harris.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This camera doesn't look like it could possibly be pointed at me, but I assume
It is.
It is.
Oh, yeah, it's perfectly
it looks
framed.
Like it's way off, but all right.
You're looking really good, man. You should feel good about it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And sitting there right next to Lon, sir, introduce yourself to us.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm from Irvine. I've been a huge fan of the show for just about 3 years now. Yeah, I've seen almost every single episode, so it's very kind of surreal to be here.
Wow.
Yes.
Damn it, dreams do come true. Alex, since you've seen every show, just give me your top 10 movie fights memories right now. Go.
Wow.
Just kidding. Alex, glad to have you. Thanks for being here, buddy. Making the drive up from Irvine.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I'm from. I'm also from Irvine.
Oh, man.
I also just made that drive.
It's so weird.
funny.
Every day.
You know what? I also made the drive from Irvine.
Why don't we just do this show in Irvine?
It doesn't seem like a coincidence anymore.
Man. Welcome back to California Geography Talk. How'd that 5 freeway treat you? As far as the rules, quick reminder, all scoring is based on facts presented, passion, and creativity. I'm having the worst time in the world picking out which camera is on right now, but we'll get that in sync, right, JTE? Look for the red light. Every time I look up, and it's like I look at the wrong one, then the red light. Okay, you know what? We're gonna go with the flow. I think by the end of the show, we'll get this right. And Lon, anything else?
Any facts to check yet?
Any facts to check yet?
You're doing a great job so far. That's the only fact I know.
All right. You know what? What do you say we get this thing fired up? JTE, roll it.
Cue the music.
What a lovely day!
Are you not entertained?
Let them fight.
I love that intro.
Wow.
It gets me so excited.
Stirring.
So
The
excited.
drugs work.
It really got the juices flowing. Our first question, gentlemen. Besides Fast and Furious, what Earthbound franchise should go to space? Okay. And DJ,
Uh-oh.
we're going to start with you.
Congratulations to me. So I was thinking, obviously your brain, you say with not Fast and Furious, your brain immediately goes to all the craziest franchises out there. And I was like, no, that's the bait. Don't take it. So I went with a movie that I actually thought would legitimately benefit from a space setting, something that is already tangentially connected to the space. And so I went with Men in Black. All right, so Men in Black follows the story of two gentlemen that are trying to defend the Earth from aliens that are living undercover on the planet. So what happens if, what was this, would this be the fourth movie? What would happen if they have to go to a space station off planet completely inhabited by aliens? They're the ones undercover. They're now both the fish out of water because let's be honest, after one of the things that we all loved about Men in Black 1 is Will Smith kind of getting used to the rules in the world. And they've always tried to recapture that to varying degrees of success. But now both agents would be a fish out of water in an alien inhabited world. Also, what's the other best part of the Men in Black movies? When you see all the aliens interacting, you see all the different cultures, all the different worlds. And so now you have these two kick-ass agents up in space trying to deal with a world where they are the only two humans there.
Got it. Men in Black in space. Brett, what do you got?
I decided to go with a franchise that you haven't heard from in a while. One that isn't crazy, one that needs to be revitalized, one that, and that one is something that could be awesome in space, and it's probably a little obvious, but Home Alone. So Home Alone is this, we're gonna take it distantly into the future. This is we've done permutations of it on Earth, but the one place where I think it can be best served is by taking it into the future, where Kevin McAllister the Ninth is on a big space station, and it's Space Christmas, and they've sounded the space alarm, and his family has to evacuate from this space station. It's essentially a space cruise, and they evacuate and they get sent off, but guess who gets left behind? Kevin McAllister, this whatever number I said earlier. Ninth. Kevin McAllister, the ninth. And so we have the world's, it turns out that alarm was a false alarm, and it was tripped by the hapless space alien criminals. We get a little of the taste of the Men in Black aliens, but they are a team of the dumbest space aliens. And so it is a super fun romp as he protects not just his house, which is in this case his space cruise bunk, but also all the cool space cruise type places on this space cruise. And it's amazing, guys. You're gonna see it when I get it done. You're just gonna laugh and laugh, but also at the end you're gonna be like, family is important. And that's my answer. Thank you.
Family is important.
Home Alone in space. Okay, and Darian.
Wow, you guys picked such great franchises. I got a new franchise. Fresh, everyone loves him. Keanu, John Wick. John Wick in space. What's so funny about that? I think the world is ready for that. In the first John Wick, sleeper hit, he's just a badass, assassin who wants revenge for his dead dog. Second John Wick, the world's opened up. You have these little gold coins and it buys you anything. From women to hotel rooms to doctors to maybe space vessels. You don't know. We don't know. Third John Wick could be a whole Men in Black crossover shit. We don't know. Maybe the assassins know some otherworldly shit. And they send John Wick, who now has to get revenge on some other guy who stole his alien dog. Or maybe he finds an alien dog at the end and brings him to Earth. That'd be cute.
Okay, John Wick in space. Great. Gentlemen, mix it up. Fight.
I gotta be honest with you, John Wick is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love both of those movies. So immediately I want to be on board with your pick.
Yeah.
But I think part of what benefits it is it goes deeper into its own mythology, and you set up this world of assassins. I feel like if you introduce space, you completely throw it off from what makes it special, what makes it
How
cool.
does it become unrealistic if you put space in it?
I'm not saying unrealistic. I'm saying
Space
it
does
distracts.
exist.
I'm saying
true.
it distracts from what makes those movies special, man. What makes them sing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I feel like what I like about the John Wick motivations in his movies are like very home earth comforts, like his car and his dog. And I did write down, you seem to like this idea, but I did write down somewhere along the crease here, was like, it's I think space is going to ruin this franchise. Maybe it needs to go through the kinds of terrible, terrible sequels that we saw with, say, Home Alone before we lift it up, because it's going to be John Wick in space. I think we can have more different mafia worlds collide and all that. And I like the idea.
It doesn't have to be John Wick 3. It could be like John Wick 12. I mean, Keanu Reeves doesn't age.
It's true. He does not age.
He can age. He can play John Wick right into a new space age for us.
I would like to transition to Home Alone a little bit, because that's another one where, like, part of what makes Home Alone special, another movie I love, again, I want to side with you, but part of what makes it special is you feel like you could be that kid. You feel like you could make those inventions. You feel like you could make traps that would probably kill actual burglars in the real world. And if you take that into space, that relatability goes away.
No, because the themes are all there. Don't you see? We have movies set in space all the time. And those movies set in space, look at Guardians of the Galaxy. The theme is, even though his father is a planet, spoiler, the theme is just father-son relationships. So you can still bring those themes into something sci-fi. Plus you get like really cool space gadgets and like funny slapstick space aliens.
Yeah, but none of that is
French.
relatable as a child. Like, none of that's part of the way I grew up. Now, it could just be any space movie. By the way, I wish we always did spoilers after, like Rosebud is a Sled, spoilers. And then...
All right, you just ruined it. Now I see.
I'm sorry.
I get it. That was wrong of me. Boy, he's a sled.
No, I'm just thinking it'd be hilarious.
I know,
I legitimately think we should do it that way.
I mean, I could see it maybe as a reboot. I take your side a little bit on it. I'd like to see it.
I don't know, even as a reboot, because again, like, what you got to think about what makes the movie special. With Men in Black, like, aliens already part of the formula. The fish out of water is already part of what makes it work. By taking it to space, it emphasizes the things that already make that movie work.
I don't need it. I don't need another Men in Black. You know,
the world doesn't. The world doesn't want it.
No one has as close a connection to really either of those movies in the way that will really vibe with the children who are going to go see it and the parents who are going to kind of nostalgically go like, yeah, this is my future and my past at the same time.
Do you think there's some sort of like sleeper generation of Home Alone fans? They're like 10 now.
They're
like,
you.
no,
they're us.
Yeah, but again, it's the same people that would be into Men in Black.
Right, but you're talking about the dynamic when people say make something for the kids and something for the adults. There is something for the adults in here. I don't need to see the outer space version of Men in Black, but I need to see the outer space version of Kevin McAllister. And the more I think of the time and how much we'll need to create space cruises, maybe the 10th.
Kevin I'm going to throw a couple of questions at you guys. Brett, I'm going to ask you, who's the cast of your Home Alone in Space?
All right, so here's what's great. We have a full-on CGI alien played by Joe Pesci. Okay, he's back, he's there, he's in it. Marv is actually the same Marv who got frozen in ice as part of an experimental prison treatment and is then thawed out. So we have Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci, and then along the way we have the stars of today we're craving. We have the like Rebel Wilsons, we have the Kristen Wiggs, we have the Ellie Kempers, the people who have been made stars by now because of great movies that they've made in this last decade.
Oh, and is it Macaulay Culkin, did you say?
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin is there.
Is he Kevin McAllister the Ninth?
So
who's Kevin McAllister the Ninth?
Kevin McAllister the Ninth is a fresh face we don't know yet, but who definitely has the same number of potentially famous siblings as Macaulay Culkin did back then.
Gotcha. Darian, I'd like you to break down the plot of John Wick in Space a little bit more for us.
Okay, John Wick in Space. An asteroid is coming. The Hitmen Coalition have the money to get off the planet. It rips off every other movie. It has 2012 in it. It has it's a little peppered with everything. There's an arc full of hitmen that is going to leave. And John Wick has his gold, right? But then someone says, hey, John, before you go, I need you to get revenge on this other guy. And he misses the arc. I don't know. I haven't really thought it out. I was going to ask for some help.
He's the ideas guy. He's coming up with these ideas. He'll give it off to writers, I'm sure.
I just come up with the concept. I'd find funding for these guys. I just want to see the movie. I could wish it into existence. I wasn't going to write it.
Right on. I like watching Keanu do anything, so
agreed.
There's something there. And then Men in Black in Space.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about about the plot and who they'd be squaring off against. Are there any guest stars playing villains?
I would have what you would probably have is somebody on Earth is murdered, and in the first act they're trying to figure out who it is, and they discover that it's an alien that is now off-world, and so they're going to have to go off-world to figure it out. And there's a space station that is kind of like the way station, because they described Earth as the Casablanca of other worlds. So this is the way station for aliens to get to Earth. It's completely inhabited by aliens, and that's where the murder mystery is solved. So you've got a little bit of a Chinatown vibe, but like more fun, where you're in the heat of it, you're surrounded by enemies, but you've got weird versions of our society, our culture, people running shops, societies, politicians. Yeah, what are alien politicians like? How do aliens coexist? These are things that we've barely tapped into in these movies, and they have to unravel it as they go deeper and deeper into this whole society. Remember in Star Wars Rogue One where they're on the planet with full of criminals? That's like asteroid. Think that, but with the Men in Black there. You know what I mean? And so they're trying to figure that out. And the beauty of Men in Black is you could have all sorts of people come in and do guest roles. You'd actually want to have your movie, people coming in and doing little guest roles, and an occasional celebrity like they did on the wall, where it's like, hey, these celebrities are aliens. Maybe one of them's in the way station to pick up a family member. You know what I mean? Like Bieber. Bieber would be a great example of somebody that's clearly an alien. I would throw a Tommy Wiseau in there because I legitimately think he's an alien. I really do. Who else you could? I mean, the movie, you could even have Michael B. Jordan training up to be a new agent in the Men in Black, and have to be thrust into this like sink or swim situation.
Gotcha. All right, let's start with Brett. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts for me is I'm thinking about what you've pitched for this Men in Black thing, and it just seems like, I want to see other space movies. It just seems like we got the conventional alien thing, and we're out there trying to find like the bad guy in space. And I've seen that, And then with John Wick, I feel like we're taking a beloved franchise that's in its prime, and we're ruining it by adding space. You want to wait till that franchise has died, bring it back from the dead in a way that involves space. That's what space is for. It is the future of society when we've ruined our planet, and it's the future of Home Alone when they've ruined that franchise.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Darian, final thoughts?
I have to say my John Wick argument was pretty flimsy. I gotta say, I'm aware of it. That being said, the more I sat here...
Is there any more to be said?
No, there's plenty more.
Keep going.
That being said, the more I listen to you two, DJ, I kind of want to see that Men in Black movie now. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it.
Because Men in Black is a failing franchise. If there's any chance to save it, it's not going to be to merge it with 21, 22 Jump Street or whatever.
Yeah, you just want to remember what was good about it.
Yeah, let's try to get back to that. And I'm sorry, but Home Alone in space would be like direct to
your heart.
No.
All right, Darian using his final thoughts to throw his weight behind
right.
DJ. Closing argument.
Again, with both John Wick and Home Alone, I feel like putting them in space buries what makes those franchises special, what makes them nostalgic, or not in John Wick's case, but in Home Alone's case. What the parts that you liked about it growing up, if you throw it in space, you lose that, because Home Alone, it's all about being in your home. It's tougher to imagine being in a space station. It's a more home-based fantasy.
That was Passengers.
I wrote it. It's actually if you have dumb aliens, it becomes a great version of Passengers. Not even kidding. It's right there.
Yeah, but with Men in Black, if you take it in space, if you kind of do the behind enemy lines version of it, it emphasizes the things that we liked about the franchise: fish out of water, strange new worlds, new situations. By putting in space, it actually gives you an opportunity to remind yourself and to capture and emphasize the things that make those movies great.
All right, quite a battle, quite a collision between the unstoppable force, the immovable object, and one other thing that's equally as impressive. Darian, you pulled the ripcord on the last.
I had to. I have
dignity.
I have children who might see this someday.
Yes.
And while he's plummeting to space, he pulls out a knife and cuts my parachute to ribbons.
But a potentially good move for the franchise one day, but not today. So it came down to DJ and Brett. And DJ thought it might have been a little on the nose to put Men in Black in space. Brett, you came with. I love that you included Joe Pesci. I love that you included Daniel Stern as the Wet Bandits were coming back. But then you lost me a little bit when you did not include Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister, and you didn't have an equal replacement on deck for him because, man, that Culkin factor. I mean, that's a lot.
He's the hologram in the spaceship. That's it. I know you rang the bell.
That's a lot to just gamble. That's a huge gamble.
Right.
That's a huge gamble. That you're going to find someone as charismatic. And then DJ coming in with that Force Awakens, or was it the Rogue One reference?
Yeah.
The Rogue One reference. That really made it a vivid idea of these guys behind enemy lines. And the more you were selling that, the more I started to get on board. And you know what? That's the movie I want to see. DJ, you get the point.
I think that's the first time I've gotten the first round, man. You said I choked on the first round.
Lon Harris, where did they screw up?
Really not a lot of facts to check. We got a lot of suggestions from the fans that wouldn't work, though. We got James Bond, Sharknado, Predator, all have already been to space, guys. Come on. The other fact I would check, family is important. Jury is still out. Other franchises that were suggested by the audience, the number one most suggested franchise that should move to space, surprising to me, pirates. We got a lot of suggestions. The Pirates of the Caribbean should go to the great sea in the sky. Also, a lot of people suggested Face Off, and A. Reinhardt had the perfect title, Space Off.
That's great. That's pretty perfect.
Why isn't that happening right now? The fan poll, they did agree with you.
Yeah.
65% on YouTube went for DJ and the Men in Black pitch. 52% on Twitter, won both. 26% on Twitter for John Wick. 22% for Home Alone.
That was a good one. That's a good one.
Hey, we all want it to be good again, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, man, quite a first round.
Macaulay Culkin would make a fantastic alien in Men in Black.
All right, I get 10%.
Crossover. Home Alone.
We might be brokering a major deal right here. All right, next up, round two. What movie character, what fictional character, or maybe not fictional, maybe it'll be from a documentary, would have the best Instagram account? What movie character would have the best Instagram account? And we're going to start with Brett.
All right, the answer to this question unequivocally is Ava from Ex Machina. Why? She has not only the qualities of, but the abilities of what it takes to make an amazing Instagram. First of all, she's a good-looking lady, and not just in like the sports model way, but in this very like approachable, internet lovable, like cute, innocent way. And then I think what really puts it over the top for me is she has the uncanny ability to, as we saw in the movie, spoiler alert, sort of, to go through everything that's ever been done online at the same time, figure out what works, and through that algorithm deduce what will draw you in and make you love it. Not because she's, inherently manipulative, inherently good or bad, but just because she can and she will. Add to that the fact that she is out in the world. She got all this success by manipulating like a nerdy tech person, so someone who is, internet savvy. And then add to that, she's seeing everything for the first time, and she is able to relate that to you in new, fresh ways. I think that is the absolute best Instagram possible, plus tech tips, because she's inside the internet.
Gotcha, Ava from Ex Machina. Darian, talk to us.
I think this is easy. This is really easy. There's only one character who would be made for Instagram today. She's just a little behind the curve, and that's Nomi Malone from Showgirls. If there was ever an Instagram star in the making, it would be Nomi. She wouldn't even have to take off her clothes that much. She would just wear little string bikinis. She'd have 4 million followers, and then she'd convert that into more stardom and have 20 million followers. She would be an Instagram superstar, hands down, all because she wants to be a star.
All right. Elizabeth Berkley's Nomi Malone from
right.
Showgirls. From Darian, thank you. Oops, false alarm. And DJ, what do you got?
You want somebody that's going to give you nice, quality pictures, give you a nice variety of pictures, show you things you've never seen before. That's why you follow somebody on Instagram. So I recommended Peter Parker, the Spider-Man, because not only is he a photographer, also incredibly talented at taking pictures of himself, master of the selfie, makes money off of it, but he can also show you things you've never seen. Those stunt pics where they're hanging off a building, that's his day-to-day. But he can also go around the world. He can show you, we saw on Spider-Man Homecoming, he had that video of the fight at the airport. That's on his Instagram, man. Have you seen stuff like that? No, not only that, he's going to take us to space in Infinity War. He is all over. Literally any place you would want pictures, that boy's going to be. That boy's snapping pics. Not only that, hanging out with some of the most beautiful people in the world. Several of them are named Chris. All right, but the most attractive people on the planet are his BFFs, and they also are superheroes and supervillains, and so you get the wide breadth of everything you could possibly want to see on an Instagram account.
All right, fellas, mix it up.
What are you talking about? Everyone would know who he is instantly.
No, you just have the Spider-Man account. You hanging out with Thor.
How long would it take for it to be? What?
No, sorry, I just was with you.
Yeah, how long would it take for it to be hacked, Spider-Man exposed, Aunt May dead?
Here's my problem with Spider-Man. He has to make that decision if he's Peter Parker or not. And guess what? If you want those like aerial photos, he's gonna have to be Spider-Man. Yeah. He's gonna be having the same face in every photo because it's a mask.
Yeah, but
you don't get those micro expressions that Ava is so good at.
No, but here's the problem with Ava. Ava doesn't give a shit about people or humanity. The one person she ever remotely
and those are the best Instagram feeds. Are these sociomaniacal manipulators?
What purpose would she even have for Instagram?
But then that's why Nomi beats Ava, because Ava would, look at someone like Nomi and say, oh, this is a perfect Instagram. Let me emulate this.
Well, she would do that, but also every other showgirl who's ever existed, she's been able to go through, evaluate what works, which I hate to break it to you,
average showgirl.
Is not crimped hair and high hip lines, by the way. That ship has sailed, my friend.
Nomi style is stuck back in the 90s? Is that where that was from?
And then again, okay,
she would keep up to date fashion-wise. Yes, come on. That was what was hot in the 90s.
Also, I don't know. It depends on, I didn't see the new Spider-Man, sorry. It was like kind of a protest vote, because I didn't win when I said that would be the biggest movie of the summer in our movie fights last time. But he works for a newspaper. That's old media. You think he's going to be able to conquer new media this way? No.
Listen, man.
People be like, oh, this is obviously faked.
Also, if it's on Instagram, you're trying to talk about his flying through the air thing. Instagram has a decidedly worse image stabilizer than Snapchat. So on Snapchat, maybe. He wears the glasses.
Are you pretending he can't take his pictures and upload them to Instagram?
Okay, here's the answer that's better than that. You want all these aerial photos? Ava buys a drone.
But see, Ava's too interested in murdering humanity. She's teaming up with Skynet. She's murdering everybody. No, but she's not doing Instagram.
Why would Ava really want to do Instagram? Why would she care if people follow her?
Because, it's...
And then why would she need to continue to entertain them? She would find herself in some kind of,
Here's all I gotta say. You think you have her pegged? You think you have her pegged? But the characters in that movie sure thought they had her pegged, and guess what? They were wrong. You're wrong. I get her. She loves me. I love her.
No, but see, that's the mistake they made. They thought she behaved like a human, and in the end, spoilers, she just murdered everybody like Terminator. Exactly. She's basically Terminator.
I feel like I'm winning, and that's why everyone's against me so hard. They know it.
I'm against both of you because you have ridiculous arguments. Nomi is the queen of Instagram.
Listen, also, all that Ava would have to do is charm Peter Parker, which, let's face it, would be pretty easy. He's a little insecure, and say, can I fly with you on those Spider-Man things? And he, in a heartbeat, would be taking her around so she could have all the kinds of photos
But then she'd team up with Ultron and he'd have to stop her. Like Peter's a young, hip kid. He knows what's in better than we are.
And then, so what happens? What happens when your Spider-Man gets 5 million Instagram followers and then, the corporations come knocking at his door and say, hey, Spider-Man, can you wear, a logo on your suit? Can you wear some Coca-Cola? Does he do it?
Yeah, he's broke. Listen.
What kind of dilemma does that create for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man?
He's already teaming up with Tony Stark. This Spider-Man's already sold out,
come on.
Also, you want to say that he has all these access to these locations that no one ever has, but there's an Instagram spot called Instagram account called You Did Not Sleep There that shows everyone who pretends to have these really awesome views from the places that they went, but it turns out that it's all completely fake.
Yeah, but you wouldn't do that because this person can actually climb up walls.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to go all those places. His skill is completely unnecessary because you can fake it.
Would he then be rendered useless as a superhero
Absolutely.
if he's like taking 10 Instagram posts a day? Because that's like, how many Instagram posts how many photos do you take to get one good one?
People are
All right,
dying.
gentlemen,
People are dying.
Gentlemen, a lot of persuasive arguments happening right here at this table, but I'm going to throw a question out to everyone. I want you to walk me through 3 Instagram posts. What 3 visual Instagram posts would look like. Paint a picture in my mind's eye. Brett, you led off, so we will start with you. 3 Instagram posts.
They're going to run the gamut. Here's a fact that beautiful women on Instagram appeal to 2 different kinds of people. 1, the boys who follow them, who think that they're super hot, and 2, the women who are looking for lifestyle tips. Now, someone who has studied nothing but lifestyle tips and is able to give them adequately, Ava. Oh, here's the dress of the day. This is the cute little dress that'll make the boys fall in love with you. In addition, it is I was this face a second ago. I just pulled it off another model. Boom, other face. This is me in this look and that look. And so it's like the sexy hot stuff. Also, she has, so the person on, okay, that will be is there going to be final thoughts?
Oh no, this is just okay. Maybe let's see how that goes.
Okay, I'm just saying that like your girl's gonna break the no nipples.
We're flying
clause.
with no net here.
Your girl's gonna break the no nipples clause on Instagram at some point or another because that's showgirls for you. And my girl has no nipples, so she can be sexy and naked, but you don't see any nipples, so she doesn't technically violate it. There's no way for her to get
But
thrown
also
off
outs
Instagram.
herself as a robot.
That's right, totally. And Nomi would not necessarily break
She
the no
passed the
nipples
Turing
clause.
test, buddy.
Yeah, but if she's taking pictures where she's switching faces and has no nipples, what is she?
You know, she's a human.
Okay,
don't
so
think that
I
was a try.
asked for 3
Okay.
pictures.
Hot lifestyle tip, and then like some amazingly interesting like life hack. Oh no, some upside down photo of a shadow or something that just looks so beautiful as a photograph in and of itself because she's seeing everything for the first time and redefining how you look at the world.
Got it. Thank you. Darian.
Okay, first of all of Nomi's posts would have her in it in some shape, way, or form, even if they're with someone else. We know this. But she would never break the no nipple rule. She's a classy girl.
Okay.
She has taste. She has standards. She told off Kyle MacLachlan. she has a line. So there would be her in a bikini, obviously. That's how you get followers. That's your bread and butter. You got to post a few of those a week. That's what's going to happen. They're going to be different colors. They're going to be the same things. They're going to be some designer specials. They're going to be some, corporate jobs, shit like that. Then she'll also do a little, just kind of an art piece. And because she had the whole high-waisted panties, maybe it'll just be whale tail. Maybe it'll just be that. Just various studies of whale tail. People love that. That comes trending back. That's a hit. And then something really kind of inspirational. Just her at a pond, thinking about dancing. Always, something poignant.
What's the caption for that one at the pond?
A tickle of my toes in the water. I got nothing.
That's it.
That started so well. I love the tickle of my
Maybe
toes
she
in
was
the
asking
water.
and then she'd have her 1 million followers just caption that shit.
Okay.
And then it'd be like,
Actually not a
Nomi,
bad idea.
marry me.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That's how she do it.
And DJ.
Listen, first off, I got to say I'm a little bit uncomfortable with the amount of objectification going on in these other 2 accounts. But let's talk about the photo Spider-Man would take. One, because he's got that spider drone, he's able to take pictures from whatever. So he can go to the highest spot in New York, be hanging off of his web, have a picture of that, and literally just say, highest spot in New York as Spider-Man. Boom, that's one. The other one is he's hanging out with Gamora in space. So fine, if we want the hot ladies, cool. We got a hot alien green babe in space, all right? Then he can have a shot of him and the Avengers just eating shawarma, just goofing around, hashtag squad goals. Those are just 3. Think about all the other options.
All right. Let's break this down. Everybody presented some interesting choices, some iconic movie characters taking pictures at the heights of their powers. But at the end of the day, You guys just broke down like 2 basic Instagram accounts. Like that was like some basic ass shit that you were describing. What? Yes. But then at the start of the match though, you had a real strong dig on DJ where you called out the security possibilities. Is he going to be? Is he going to lead people to Avengers headquarters? Is someone going to hack his account? But you know what? The quality of Spider-Man's pictures. I mean, just from the angles to who he's hanging out with. Gotta go points, DJ.
Outrage.
This is rigged.
This is unbelievable.
You notice he always votes
What
for...
about Aunt May? Old Aunt May would die, and young Aunt May would be sold into white slavery.
That's a good point.
Lon.
Once again, the fans are with you, Hal. 69% for Spider-Man on Twitter, to 17% for Ava and 14% for Nomi. I've never seen this before, and I double refreshed to make sure. Ava got 0% on YouTube.
She's scary.
Nobody voted for
Wow.
Ava.
Let's be honest, she's scary.
It's,
The thing is,
it's overwhelming for Spider-Man. There's 71% of
Man,
the YouTube
where's all my
audience.
Vikander heads? Where are all my Alicia
Wrong.
Vikander heads?
Yeah, no Team Vikander in there.
Were there any factual screw ups?
No. There was a lot of debate. No factual screw-ups. There was a lot of debate about would Spider-Man necessarily being on Instagram mean that his secret identity was given away, because J. Jonah Jameson's never figured it out. That was a common refrain that I heard in the chat room. Well, if nobody at the newspapers figured it out, why would the Instagram audience necessarily figure it out?
That's a good point. And no offense, guys. Listen. I follow some booty models. I'm not gonna lie. I had a friend of mine, like, just like a girl I was just like friends with, said to me one time, like, what's up with all of your likes? And I realized that, like, if someone wants to, they can check your likes. So I started doling out my likes a little bit with a little bit more.
Wait, what's this check your likes
more,
thing?
Oh,
who was he
my
liking?
friend looked at all the pictures I liked,
yeah.
and like I guess I was on a streak of liking some scandalous pictures. So now I'm a lot more discerning about my likes. Alex, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get a shot at Alex.
I have no idea
Alex.
what you're talking about. No.
Your Instagram is scandalous, Alex. All right. Cool. Wow. DJ is out in front 2-0.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to have to switch seats with him at some point.
Word to the wise, gentlemen. Let's step our collective games up. All right.
You're really going to regret this.
That's not even...
Round 3.
Man. Okay, man.
Promotion for the movie It. Promotion for the upcoming remake of the Stephen King-penned horror thriller It includes a 2-story interactive house in Hollywood. What movie character's house would be the most fun to visit? Again, what movie character's house would be the most fun to visit? Round 3, Darian Sills Evans, we're starting with you.
This house is a house that I loved since childhood. And who wouldn't want to spend a night, a week? It'd be a perfect Airbnb. I'm saying Pee Wee Herman's house from Pee Wee's Big Adventure. A sweet home. Look at that. Look, there it is right there. Just full of kitsch in the front yard, and the house makes you breakfast.
That's a good point.
I can go on, but I'll save it for my argument.
Okay, bam. Pee Wee Herman's house. Pee Wee's Playhouse. Is it different from Pee Wee's
It is
Playhouse?
different from the Playhouse,
Okay.
but, you know, if I'm allowed to include, he's had 3 houses. He's had his Netflix house, he's had his Playhouse, and he's had, you know, the house from the Warner Brothers movie.
Okay.
So they're all different, they're all terrific, and they all beat these 2 houses.
All right, well, we shall see. DJ, your
Yes.
answer.
You know what? I had to go. I was trying to think of something other than this, but like I got to stick with my brand. You know what I mean? Superhero stuff. Wayne Manor. Think about it, because not only do you have a mansion, which with all the amenities you would want to have in a mansion, multiple bedrooms, classic, a library, everything you could ever possibly want in this one space. And then beneath it, the secret lair of one of the greatest superheroes in the entire world. You have secret switches, hidden rooms, fire poles that you can slide down that dress you up as a superhero. You've got some of the greatest in the cars in the garage. You've got the best cars in the world already in the garage. And then in the Batcave, you have the Batmobile and a jet and a boat and a motorcycle that all do other various amazing things. You've got the greatest computer in the world. You will never get lag ever again. It's got everything. It's the perfect man cave. It's the perfect lady cave. It's the Batcave and a mansion on top of it.
Bam, there you go. Wayne Manor. Brett.
Christian Grey's house from 50 Shades of Grey. Not only do you have sweeping views of downtown Seattle, but it also has a super fun sex place, and sex is so fun. And weird sex is even funner than that. And so that's where I would put it. Wayne Manor does not have a sex dungeon.
Does it not? Are you sure?
It does not have a sex. Let me think.
Are you saying there's nothing kinky about Batman?
I'm saying there is no dedicated zone as we know, and you'd have to be making it up, which is not honorable. That has a sex area with a lot of weird sex inventions. He has the Batcave of sex. And so it
Why wouldn't
sounds
some of
super
his
fun.
gadgets just double as sex gadgets?
Because of the...
He's a multi-thinker.
Fight it out, guys.
All right.
But you're both wrong, by the way.
Okay, bring it. Why?
Well, Christian Grey's place is a cold, horrible place. No one's going to want to go there. It looks like, it looks like a funeral home. Really, you take out the furniture, what is it? Just marble everywhere.
It's a penthouse in downtown Seattle.
Like, listen.
Steps from the place where they throw the fish. That's a vacation.
Listen, check out my cold, emotionless penthouse, but also don't worry, there's a room in there that makes sex hurt because I'm into that.
In the most splendid way,
Yeah.
and billions of women would disagree with you.
Billions?
They read it out loud. Sorry, trillions of women would
Listen,
disagree with you.
a lot of people read the books. I don't know if they'd be into the room.
Here's the thing. Hi, I'm here to tour stately Wayne Manor. Oh, an oaken study. What's past it? Oh, another oak-paneled study. Past that, another oak-paneled
You're trying
study.
to tell me you don't want a mansion?
But all you would see at Wayne Manor is the mansion. You're not going to the Batcave. Bruce Wayne gives tours all the time. He gives them to orphans. He gives them to everybody. Nobody gets to see the Batcave unless they drug Alfred or
We're visiting. We're visitors. Who's to say we don't see the Batcave?
Oh, who wants to go
Is
to
he
the
dead?
Batcave?
Is Bruce Wayne dead now? And
Yeah.
and everyone knows that he's been Batman. Or here, see, we're Bruce Wayne, billionaire who's now dead. It used to be Batman.
I would go so far as to say in the agreement on Airbnb, it would explicitly say no Batcave access.
But then we know the Batcave exists.
If the Batcave were there, ... Also, here's what's terrible about the Batcave. Bats. You're going down to this murky ass terror lair, and there's bats all over the place. It's dank, it's wet. What do you want? Here's what you get after you go to the bat-laden, moisture dungeon. You get rabies and a lung infection.
Or you can just die from falling.
Those bats are well managed. You've got some of the greatest vehicle. You can roll around in the Batmobile.
Did you not see the part where he takes... There's a helipad on the top of Christian Grey's thing. Also, did I mention there's awesome weird sex stuff you can do?
But that's not for everybody.
You're not going to be able to draw. You'll be like, oh, look, there's that. And it is for everybody.
But what's for everyone is breakfast in the morning when you wake up via cartoon machinery.
Here's the thing is, that's not even the coolest house in that movie. The terrible guy who lives down the road has that giant indoor swimming pool.
Yeah, but that's not a cool house.
Wait, if we're assuming that we're not seeing the Batcave on our Airbnb thing, why are we taking a tour of the sex dungeon?
Because it's just a door.
Excellent point.
It's just a door.
No, excellent point. If there's no Batcave, there's no dungeon. What there is an open,
wait a minute.
friendly house, playhouse, or just an Airbnb or his third Netflix house that you can visit, and there's no secrets, and nobody's going to try to kill you or have sex with you in it. It's a beautiful place. They're just going to give you toys and gum that makes your teeth black and stuff like that. But it's not going to be. What does Christian Grey do? And if you're not a woman, can you even go to his house?
Yes. Oh, that is closed-minded, sir.
Well, I'm just saying.
Here's the thing: is your thing is the most terrifying house in the universe. I don't know. I can't remember what's what, but in Pee-wee's house, I believe there's a chair with a face.
That's the playhouse. Yeah.
And you sit on that, and if you want to sit on someone's face, do it in a sex dungeon, like Christian Grey has. Thank you.
I mean, as long as you're able to get somebody to enjoy the sex dungeon,
friends are capable of.
Yeah.
They can also provide.
I would much rather have friendly cartoon friends than a sex dungeon that somebody else uses on the reg.
Yeah, that's fine. And okay, did you see the wealth in that man's house? I'm sure he has a very trustworthy cleaning person.
I feel bad for those people.
Your house isn't as cool as Iron Man's house.
It's cooler.
It's not cooler.
Iron Man doesn't have a Batmobile or a Batwing.
He has suits that
or
can
a Batcopter.
Yeah, but he has suits
or
that
a
make
Bat motorcycle.
But
or
you're
the
not
best
gonna
computer
see
on the planet.
Every suit that Iron Man has a suitcase that turns into.
I
he has
would like
cuffs
to
that turn
point
into a
out.
suit.
Well,
he has Jarvis, who's much better.
To that point, going to Tony Stark's house would be better than going to Bruce to Wayne Manor. Because at least Tony Stark would show you everything.
Not the best in the
Wayne
category.
Manor.
Not the best in the category. Only in the category, and it's the best category. Sex lair.
Here's what Wayne Manor has: giant dinosaur robot, also a giant penny.
And suits of armor.
Those.
He actually does have suits of armor.
You guys be quiet. Stop clapping. Stop the giant ovation for giant penny.
Okay, gentlemen. I'd like to hear your final thoughts and maybe talk to me a little bit and include in there what a day at that house would be like. Okay, Darian?
You wake up. You already smell the breakfast happening. That's wonderful. I bet by now Pee-wee's rigged it up so you can just go along a conveyor belt kind of Jetson style and your clothes get changed and you go into a shower and next thing you know you're sitting there eating. Then you can watch TV or go for a ride around the block with your bike, play some pranks on people, go back home, and then dinner's made via another machine going in reverse or some shit like that. That's a day.
All right, that's a day. DJ, walk me through it.
You wake up in one of the most opulent, comfortable beds you have ever been in your entire life. Alfred comes in with breakfast served. You're like, this is the most amazing meal I've ever had. You go downstairs and they're like, right this way, sir. You open Shakespeare's head and press a button and there's a fire pole that you slide down. You're dressed as Batman. You get to be Batman for a day. All right, you're getting to play around on the Bat computer. You take the Batmobile for a spin, bring it back. Alfred's got dinner made for you. You get to do some more playing on the Bat computer. Try out the Batman armor, take a ride on the giant robot T-Rex, and then go back into that nice comfy bed.
All right.
Thank you, DJ.
Yeah.
There is no way that Bruce Wayne's bed is any more comfortable than Christian Grey's bed. Off.
What's his sleep number?
Whatever, infinity. There is no way that Bruce Wayne's breakfast, cooked by English Alfred, is any better. That like, oh, here's bangers and mash. No, Alfred's gonna make terrible breakfast, so my breakfast is better. Okay, it isn't made by a robot. I totally spot you that.
Okay.
And then after that, you go to do some sex stuff. Crazy sex stuff that you've never even imagined. So you do sex stuff for like 3 or 4 hours until you need a break. You walk to Pike's Place Market where they watch people throw fish. Goosh, goose. It's Seattle. And then sex stuff, more sex stuff. On a infinity number sleep bed.
Wow. 3 vastly different houses, 3 different experiences, 3 potential vacation brochures. So this was difficult. Before we get into it, Lon, facts.
Not really a lot of facts. There was a lot of discussion on Twitter about, is Wayne Manor inherently depressing because the man who lives there is so depressed, or would it be fun if you injected some fun energy in there? If like you were fun and you were visiting, would that make it more fun? Also a big debate, does the X mansion count? Like it is Professor X's home, but it is also a school. There was a lot of back and forth on that. A lot of people really enjoyed murky-ass terror lair. That has become a hashtag among the fans. And then the number one fan suggestion that we did not discuss, Willy Wonka. Everybody
Good
thinking
idea.
Willy Wonka probably has a really fun house.
I wonder if that counted
Yes,
as
but-
a house.
Yeah, that was his factory.
That's his factory. I think
Yeah.
they're just theorizing. I bet his house is also
Yeah.
lots of fun.
I don't
Gotcha.
know. My house is nothing like where I work.
Man, you guys made this a difficult choice for me. I mean, yeah, the Batcave is awesome, but is that inherently part of Wayne Manor? The answer was Wayne Manor, and you said all the fun would come from the Batcave, and I'm not sure. Like I would think if you frickin' Airbnb'd that stuff, like he would not let you go down there. Like I think they made some excellent points. They called you out, and I don't think you properly fielded their dings on you. Brett, man, the Red Room, huh? You're all about that Red Room. I think we learned more about you than actually learned about the answer to the question. And let me go back to the question. The question was, what movie character's house would be the most fun to visit? I think the key word here is fun. And Darian, you painted a fun day with all of the gadgets, the pranks. It would just be a good time. His bike, you mentioned the bike. You go for a bike ride in the neighborhood. That would be a fun day with all the doodads. You could, the breakfast would be made for you. Darian Sills Evans gets the point.
I get one. This is awesome. I'm going to sleep tonight.
What's Twitter talking
Twitter,
about?
once again, all about the DJ picks. Wayne Manor with 56% on Twitter and 61% on YouTube. Pee Wee Herman, 31% on Twitter and 26% on YouTube. Bringing up the rear, as he enjoys so much. Christian Grey, 13% on Twitter and 12% on YouTube.
15-year-olds aren't into the sex thing.
Real edgy picks, they're going with the superheroes. Not real fan favorites out there. I lash out when I get sad.
That was a toughie. Were there any comments about whether or not the Batcave would be on the table if you were at Wayne Manor?
Yeah, everybody seemed to agree that the Batcave was on the table. There was a lot of back and forth about, like, well, DJ mentioned, well, there's a huge penny, and there was discussion about, like, well, is that really fun? Would the Batcave be fun, or is the Batcave too severe? I think was what people were sort of discussing.
Yeah.
They did bring up a solid point about just massive chasms that you could just fall down.
It is dangerous, especially if you don't know the terrain.
What's the phrase again? Murky.
Oh, murky ass terror layer.
Murky ass terror layer.
I'm into that.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, it sounds like you're into that too. Murky ass terror layers.
Take out the word tear.
That's right.
All right. We are moving to round numero 4. Oh man, this is a tough question, but gentlemen, you've come in prepared with your answers. What is the best comedy of the decade so far? Best comedy of the decade so far. And it's question 4. We are back around to DJ. Start us off.
All right. So for me, I mean, this is very I had to pick the one that made me laugh the most, the one I remember most, the one that stuck with me the most, and it came out just at the start of the decade, and then it has to be MacGruber. We can all be honest that the MacGruber sketches were not SNL's necessarily best. However, from that iffy origin, they made not just a fantastic SNL movie, but the perfect send-up of every 80s action movie you have ever seen, with a woefully incompetent secret agent that is probably more dangerous to his own team than he is to the bad guys. But there's a bunch of great one-liners, a bunch of great running gags. Just a laugh out loud, fantastic movie that I cannot wait for a sequel for.
Got it. DJ goes with MacGruber. Brett.
Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids has the most iconic scenes, the most quoted and quotable lines, and memorable scenes, and then that cast is super stacked. And not only that, but it changed comedy. It opened up the world for a female-dominated cast to put out something that is genuinely funny and enjoyable for a wide audience. When I go to Vegas, I play on the Bridesmaids slot machines, and it reminds me how awesome that movie is. It has, made its way into every nook and cranny of not only society, but Christian Grey's sex layer. And that's why I think it is the best comedy of the decade so far, 2011.
Bam, Brett's going with Bridesmaids. Darian Sills Evans.
I have to say, for me, when I think of what comedies stick with me, even from my childhood, it's always something that went off the beaten path a little bit. And for me, for this decade, I'm going to say Dope. Not a movie a lot of people talk about, but unlike a lot of other comedies that have come out, it doesn't have the same conventions. It's about a kid in Los Angeles who's a bit of a nerd, and he gets in over his head with some drug packages. It's an extremely funny, original movie that probably deserves a little more attention, and it's very hilarious.
Excellent. All right, 3 very funny choices, 3 strong choices. Gentlemen, drop the gloves and go at it.
MacGruber, an SNL movie. Wow, way to break the mold there. Wow, what a great accomplishment to go from a one-joke sketch to a functional movie.
But isn't Bridesmaids just Bachelor Party?
Or Hangover.
Or Hangover.
It's more like the ladies' hangover.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say both.
Yeah.
Let's say both because
Let's
it
say
sucks
both.
as an idea. It's not the funniest movie of the decade.
It is the best comedy of the decade.
Maybe
in
the
its
highest grossing,
significance.
but that doesn't make it funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. Just
I mean,
ask it. It is wildly, uproariously funny. A lot of different scenes. Everybody likes that movie. And look at the cast that it has. It introduced us essentially to the box office and just comedy power and value of people like Melissa McCarthy, Ellie Kemper, Kristen Wiig. And then its supporting cast just sports all these amazing people like Rebel Wilson. Hey,
Yeah.
But
she's
does
in
it
this
even?
movie too.
It gave us a bunch of people that we're all tired of seeing.
Exactly. and is it even as fun now as it was in 2011?
Yes.
I would say even 7 years later, it doesn't hold up.
I would compare the pee scene in your movie to the poop scene in my movie, and the poop scene in my movie is funnier and more well-remembered and iconic than the pee scene in your movie.
I will compare
It
both.
isn't like that funny. It's a really good movie. It's like a good comedy. It's not a great comedy.
I
you
would
know?
compare both your pee and poop scenes to a scene whose primary dialogue joke I cannot say on this show, but where MacGruber just wants to know what piece of office equipment he needs to please to be able to go on this mission to stop the man that killed his wife with his new partner, played by your favorite Kristen Wiig. So you get a lot of that Kristen Wiig love in this movie before Bridesmaids, before she blew up. Killing it in this movie.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah,
did
but so
gain
the
that
question
point.
is, what do people remember Kristen Wiig from? Is it MacGruber? No.
I don't know.
It
if
is
you can
absolutely
argue that
Bridesmaids.
People seeing more, it making it better.
Yeah, but when I'm looking at like the great comedies of all time, I'm looking at things that make you laugh the whole time, that are significant in what they did in the history of comedy. And MacGruber, to me, is just another SNL movie that is a send-up of a genre. And Bridesmaids is like, this is the era when women are allowed to finally have a chance to define what an era of comedy looks like.
Now, but to be fair, I mean, that is great, and I will not argue that Bridesmaids is not funny. I find it funny. I don't find it as funny as MacGruber, but I find it funny. But its importance, I don't think it plays into its funniness. And speaking of that, I have to agree with him. Dope is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like laugh out loud for me.
But that's the problem, that comedies are what we judge as comedies always have to be these laugh out loud kind of gross fest where you have the poop scene, which is the centerpiece of your movie, but the pee scene is a very small part of Dope. It's about the nuance, and nuance in the long run is funnier in comedy. The comedies that we remember, like Young Frankenstein, is not, it's because it has nuance and it makes you think a little bit more than Bridesmaids.
Are you saying a scene where this badass Rambo ripoff accidentally blows up his own team doesn't have nuance? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I
right
actually
now?
like MacGruber, so if anything,
man.
yeah, I'm kind of torn because when I saw that you picked it, I was like, oh yeah, that was fun.
I feel
That
like we have
was
this
fun.
weird Venn diagram where it's like, I like Bridesmaids, I just don't think it's as funny as MacGruber.
Right.
Yeah. It's just weird.
No one's gonna be like, years from now, I think when people look back on comedies from the 2010s, they're gonna say, in this order, Bridesmaids, then Dope for sure.
Right.
And then MacGruber's just gonna be the way it is now when you think about it in conversation, like, yeah, MacGruber, sure.
Incorrect, because there are groups of people, and I am one of them, that
I
still
know.
desperately want a sequel for MacGruber.
Right.
Nobody's talking about a sequel for Bridesmaids or Dope.
I'm waiting for a sequel for MacGruber, and I really love Dope.
They said
His arguments is that if it gets we want a sequel. Is it?
Well, your argument is
They're-
just that it made the most money.
My argument is not that it made the
Well,
most
that
money.
was one of
My
yours.
argument is it is a bunch of extremely funny women in an ensemble comedy that works from beginning to end,
Right.
that has heart, that has themes that everybody can agree with,
But then
or
Girls
can
Trip is
identify
funnier
with.
than that.
I haven't seen Girls Trip.
Oh, really? Well, what does that say about you?
I also didn't see Spider-Man, so I don't see every movie.
We've already established that was a protest vote.
Right. So what's
take me-
I guess that's true.
I'd like everybody right now to take me through the funniest scene, or the scene that made you laugh the hardest in your movie. And we'll start with Darian.
Oh gosh, man, so many scenes in Dope. Fudge.
Good. You can't say the P one now.
I can't say the
you admit
P
the
one
blue
now.
one's better.
You can. It's on the table.
Listen, P is on the table.
Well, the P one, any scene with A$AP Rocky was pretty funny, and I wasn't expecting him to be funny. I was expecting him to be typical rapper in a movie, and he kind of elevated the game, and that was the big thing. That was a surprise. The story was a surprise, and even the kind of stunt casting of Celebrity turned out to work. You know, that's a big win, especially for a movie that's an indie that a lot of people aren't going to get to see.
Cool. Thank you, Darian. DJ, tell me something that made you laugh particularly hard in MacGruber.
It's hard to. My go-to is a scene that I cannot recite here because it's a little coarse. But there's also where he blows up his team, which is also actually, that's the one I'm going to go with. It's great. The running gag of the ripping throats is amazing. But where they go through a whole montage, classic '80s movies montage, where he assembles his team and they're pro wrestlers and athletes. These are the biggest guys. These are macho men. He assembles them all. You see as rapport. And then he's talking about his plan, and he's like, and we've got all this dynamite that I packed in the van with these hands, and immediately the van behind him blows up, and this team of amazing badass people that he picked up is just destroyed, which then leads right into the other scene, which I guess is a little too dirty to recite here.
Gotcha.
But I love it. I love that movie.
Funny stuff. Brett.
Mine is a poop scene that isn't too dirty to recite, and that's an accomplishment. So I'm torn between the scene on the plane, the scene when she is, has to make duty and they all get sick.
Yes.
And Maya Rudolph in the middle of the street breaking down and just saying, it's happening. Or depending on which version you see, every outtake that they recut and put in the extra features is itself its own special brand of funny. And so I would have to go with that. I mean, that is an iconic scene in addition to everything else. Is this the final thought?
Go ahead, go right into your final thoughts.
And my final thought is, your movie is really good, but it's not like as funny as Bridesmaids or MacGruber. Yours, it is a send up of a moot point. Like it works on nostalgia to a group of people that like that, but that's not really like those things that are at work with 80s action movies weren't really at work making the problems. It wasn't like doing anything that important. It was just another SNL movie that had funny moments and was fine. But mine is one that is important and made millions and millions of people laugh, no matter who you were. And that's why I think that it is the #1 movie, not to mention it's higher rated than both.
Great. Background for final thoughts.
That sucks.
Okay.
No, Dope is going to be remembered. When they teach comedy in film classes, Dope will be remembered. Bridesmaids will not. And MacGruber actually might be. I feel like Bridesmaids will be remembered because, like you said, it gave all of the world these great comedians, and it also made a lot of money. But in the end, I don't know, the movie's kind of derivative of so many other kind of bro movies, and that was kind of the anti-bro. I don't know, maybe it's apparent I don't really have a lot of Bridesmaids love, but I'm going to stick with Dope. I think it's gonna stand the test of time.
Thank you, sir. DJ.
Listen, again, MacGruber is the only one of these movies that people were passionate enough, loved enough that they actually still want a sequel for this movie. They're still asking for it. I think it took a small concept and did so many things with it, not just for the sketch it was, not just being an SNL movie, not just being a setup for action movies, but making something new and fun. And man, when he has the notebook filled with the guy that cuts him off at the beginning of the movie, just so many great running gags that really pay off, so much great comic energy, and it just makes me smile thinking about it.
All right, wow. 3 funny movies, but a deadly, unfunny argument.
Not entertained by round 4.
Entertaining, but it's just a bloodbath.
Oh,
It's a movie
goodness.
fight. It's a fight.
it's a
I say that because it's a fight. You're all three very entertaining gentlemen. Lon,
Wow.
Lon, what's the internet saying?
There's a lot of discussion about, does best comedy mean funniest comedy, or does it mean best movie that could be categorized as a comedy? Dope not being sort of laugh out loud, but being maybe a better quality movie really threw a lot of people. Also, a lot of debate. We should clarify, by current decade, we meant 2010 to now.
Yes.
A lot of people were thinking, did we mean 2007? Would Hangover or Superbad or movies in that little end of the last decade? But we were saying 2010 to 2017, just to clarify.
Yes.
And a lot of the other, some really great movies that people suggested.
Please.
Deadpool came up a lot.
Yeah.
Ted came up an awful lot. 21 Jump Street came up a lot. Pop Star, Lego Movie, Wolf of Wall Street, and then Dark Horse, Suicide Squad. A lot of people throwing out Suicide Squad as their favorite recent
As an
comedy.
unintentional?
I think unintentionally funny.
Wolf of Wall Street? Would we call that a comedy?
Well, I do actually think Wolf of Wall
I mean,
Street
it's got funny moments.
Right,
I mean,
there
yeah.
are a lot of funny scenes, but I'm not, right. Is it a comedy if it has funny scenes?
I would call that a very harrowing movie.
Yeah, I think it's a very serious film in a lot of ways. Yeah.
All right, so so the arguments, the decision here. Wow, you guys, you did come to play. I'm really happy, Darian, that you brought up Dope, because I feel that movie is doesn't get as much love as it should, because it had its own tone and it wasn't afraid to try different things and be a little bit experimental in the storytelling and the filmmaking, and I really love that movie. I don't think you quite sold me enough on why it would have been the best comedy.
Yeah.
And I love all the young actors in the film, and A$AP Rocky was good, and I love seeing Chanel Iman in that one scene. I follow her on Instagram. But it came down to these two gentlemen for me, and your passion, DJ, was really selling me on MacGruber, but I feel like Brett cut it down a little bit by calling it just putting it in a box and calling it an SNL movie and a genre send-up, and we didn't really combat that. And when we think about best comedy of the decade so far, taking into account the humor, and he mentioned things like the cast introduced like so many of our preeminent comedy stars right now, and it did change comedy. You would not have Girls Trip. He mentioned that in his opening thing, which I saw was very funny, and Bad Moms, and so many other movies that are doing well, and this kind of opened that portal into the underworld. I don't know. No, it's a good portal. It's a good portal, and you sold me on Bridesmaids. Brett gets the point.
A point. All right, I'm gonna go now because I'm just
Twitter-
1-1 today.
Twitter and YouTube 100% behind you on that one, Hal. 69% on YouTube for Bridesmaids, and 47% on Twitter at both polls.
Out of 69.
All right. Wow. So we are going.
Sex Dungeon.
We are going into round number 5, and it is DJ in the lead with 2, Brett with 1, Darian with 1. It's any man's ball game. Here's your question. Who would be the worst possible actor to cast as James Bond? The worst Bond. We all know we have opinions about who we'd like to take over for Bond, but who would be the worst? And 5th round, Brett, we are starting with you.
Roseanne. I just think that it's a mix of.
Wow.
I don't know. That kind of sells me on it, actually. That kind of sells me on it.
Good try, nice try. But yeah, Roseanne is a mix.
That image is amazing.
It's like the temptation here is to pick like the person that's so bad that you'd have to see. You know, you might fall into the trap of someone who's so bad that you have to kind of see it. Roseanne has just kind of been not making comebacks for years. She's like occasionally, she's like in an episode of The Office as like Andy's manager. So she's just like this nothing that there is no reason at all to pick Roseanne as James Bond. If you did that, it would be just like unimpressively a, huh? And that is where I want us all to live. And I think that is the ultimate definition of the worst actor to pick for a movie, Roseanne.
All right. Coming out guns blazing with Roseanne.
Wow.
Darian.
I went with someone British because Bond would have to be British unless he was George Lazenby, right? But they would... The worst British person that could play Bond is someone who isn't really even acting anymore. So he'd have to come out of retirement like Sean Connery did to play Bond, and that would be Russell Brand. Oh, look at that. He kind of looks good there, actually.
Too handsome.
You could just put anybody in that pose. It's like, you know what?
I kind of see that. One, nobody likes him. He's kind of too obnoxious to be Bond, and even if he tried to like play it cool and clean up his act, that kind of smug know-it-allness would come through, and his Bond would be way above like sleeping with chicks, but then he'd sleep with all the chicks anyway, and then berate them for being too stupid.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but yeah, Russell Brand, that's my guy.
Got it. Russell Brand. DJ.
Yes.
Talk to me.
I was thinking the worst Bond would have to not be British because obviously you want him to be British.
Right.
So if you were to go with the worst Bond, he should be American. He should be somebody that doesn't have any of the suave, debonair characteristics. He should be somebody that doesn't necessarily have the physical action chops. Not necessarily somebody that's bad. This is actually an actor I quite enjoy. Just not at all, does not fit at all into this role, and that's Seth Rogen. He's lovable. He's affable. He's the only one. He's the only one that we brought up a picture of that I'm like, no, it doesn't even work. Even Roseanne, I was kind of like, yeah, maybe.
Besides Roseanne, you're right.
And it's not that he's not a fun, talented performer. He's fantastic. He's American. He's not a lady killer. He's not a killer. He doesn't have any of the characteristics. He would undercut everything that makes Bond as he's trying to be Bond. And so I think he would completely dismantle the character.
So Seth Rogen was involved in an international hacking scheme that revolved around the murder of the North Korean
I really liked
leader.
the interview, actually, if I'm being honest with myself.
And I'm saying that if I describe not only the interview, the plot of the interview, which is essentially a spy movie, so he's already proven he can do a good spy movie, and just everything that erupted around it, he's already a secret agent.
But listen, Melissa McCarthy was in a good spy movie. She would make a good Bond. You know what I mean?
I think she would make a better Bond, as would Seth Rogen, than Roseanne, because Seth Rogen is charming. And Bond is charming. So I'm picking
Seth
adjectives.
Rogen was charming enough to be hired for Green Hornet.
Yeah, but he bombed that movie. That was the closest movie he's ever done.
Some people like it. It did bomb.
It would be almost as bad as if they put Roseanne as the Green Hornet.
Right.
I'm just saying she's not. And also, you guys both have movie stars. And they have proven
called
themselves.
Russell Brand a movie star?
Get
To
him
his
to the
face?
Greek. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He's really good in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
He's really good in
I
that.
actually
So
think he's pretty good in both of those.
And he's in both of
Yeah, and he is British.
Right.
So you already got one thing right, which makes him one step better than these other two.
Oh, gosh. But that doesn't mean he won't be the worst. He's totally obnoxious. 2.5 hours of Russell Brand saving the world? That's not a movie.
Okay, I'm going to throw a question out there. I'm going to throw a question out there for you, gentlemen.
Yes.
Walk me through how your character would tank a classic Bond moment. Take a moment and think about it. How would your character, maybe give us a little bit of the impression of the character as well? I'd like to hear maybe a little bit of that. Your character really just nose into the tarmac on something that's classically Bond. And Brett, we're going to start with you.
Vodka martini, shaken, not stirred.
Wow. That was pretty horrific.
Sorry, I tried to get back.
I mean, mission accomplished. That was off-putting. And Roseanne just became the clubhouse leader. All right. And that's you got
the
it.
moment.
Great. Darian.
I don't drink. I don't even do British accents. I don't drink. So could I have a seltzer? And you know that if you do drink, you're just a puppet of the corporate people who want you to drink. You should read about it in my book.
Boom. Russell Brand will be shilling for his own book
Exactly right.
as James Bond. DJ, walk us through a Seth Rogen Bond moment.
I want you to think of any Bond action scene. I'll give you a specific one, but really any will do. Let's think about the famous foot chase scene at the beginning of Casino Royale. Still probably the best Bond movie, one of the best Bond movie. And I'd like you to try and imagine at all Seth Rogen doing that sequence where Bond has to run up a construction site to chase anybody. And it's just, and again, also think about Green Hornet. And then try and imagine, and then put that to a character that people actually care about today.
All right. Let's get final thoughts.
Okay, what are my final thoughts? Rose, so both of your guys are movie stars, and I think they're both, since they're comedians who are still around and have done stuff more recently, everyone would be able, or at least some people would be able to see some kind of satirical approach to this. So if you saw Seth Rogen bumbling through this, like dumb stumbling through James Bond situations, it would be possible to think of it as a satire. Russell Brand is a you know, you don't like him and a lot of people don't like him, but I love him in Forgetting Sarah Marshall as that suave, charming, like gorgeous man or whatever, you know. So Roseanne, on the other hand, is a television star who's just kind of been there, been kind of floating around, running for president maybe. There is zero reason, and I like Roseanne. I think I follow her on Twitter, but there is no reason whatsoever, nor any way to look at her on screen in James Bond and find a single redeeming quality. Whereas you're describing your people, that Venn diagram overlaps more, at least once or twice.
Thank you, sir. Darian Sills Evans.
I mean, my pick was made with the idea that if we were in a real situation and we were looking for the new Bond, he would have to be British. And let's say Russell Brand's agents decided to clean him up and say, hey, let's give this a real shot. In a crazy world, he could screen test as a great Bond and then get all the way to production, but then still be the worst Bond. I tried to think of the realistic possibility of the worst possible British movie star out there. So I stand by my choice because if you clean him up, he cleans up well. We saw his picture. Women do love him. He is charismatic, but as the lead in a Bond movie, no way.
Thank you, sir. DJ.
You know, thinking about the worst, it's just one of those, like, again, like if you to make it the worst possible Bond, make him American and make it somebody that just does not have the skills that you would look for in any Bond that would just diffuse any action sequences, any betting the most attractive women in the entire planet. And again, Seth Rogen is a talented performer, but I just think he would be everything we don't want in a Bond movie.
Wow. I don't want to see any of those movies. Like, really, like, well done picking terrible Bonds. Lon.
Well, one fact, it was thrown out that George Lazenby's the only not English Bond. Actually, Sean Connery, Scottish, not an English Bond.
Wow.
I said American, but I didn't say he was not English. But
no, you said it was like, well, I figured that Bond would be English, except George Lazenby. Gotcha. Technically, Sean Connery, Scottish.
Where is he
what's
from?
Lazenby's country of origin?
Australia. Lazenby's Australian.
So he said non-British.
That's a mistake.
Right.
He said non-British, so it wasn't English.
All right.
Yeah, the Isles, the British Isles. You know
Okay.
what?
Hey, listen, fact check the fact checker. That's fine.
You were so wrong.
We're getting into semantics.
Also, we did have the big moment in the YouTube chat room. Brett's impression lit up the room. There were references to maybe it being a knockout blow. I don't want to sway your vote. A lot of enthusiasm for Brett's take on Roseanne as Bond. Some of the other suggestions, Adam Sandler came up a whole bunch. Michael Cera, people seem to feel would be a terrible one.
Adam Sandler would be good because he could go undercover as Jill, so you could have James Bond. And Jill Bond, he tried to play Twister with your sister.
Little Nicky Bond, all sorts of options.
Yeah.
And Tommy Wiseau. Of course. A lot of people throughout the
Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, M.
Oh, hi, M.
I would watch that movie.
Great.
I would watch that movie. Yeah.
Well, you guys did a wonderful job of presenting terrible choices. I like that you kept it in the British parameters because it's like, oh yeah, what would the actual casting be? But they knocked you down a little bit with the fact that he cleans up well and he is like he has been a watchable actor, and and DJ. Seth Rogen, he has proven to be charming before, and he has been cast as an unironic hero before. So it's somewhat plausible, but what you presented was just a mockery and just an awful display. And I got to go, get him a body bag. You swept the leg, and that was a knockout blow. Brett, you get the point.
I got to be honest, the more I talk about Seth Rogen as Bond, I kind of sold myself on it. You know what? I'd watch it.
I totally get the bad feeling you get when it's almost right. And then it's wrong. Like that was a real strong play at the end.
All right, so at the end of round 5, going into the speed round, DJ has 2, Brett has 2, Darian, I applaud you. This is your first time on Movie Fights.
Thanks for having me. I love it.
No, wonderful choices and strong opinions and arguments, but I do need your help right now.
All right.
I'm going to ask you and Lon and Alex for your opinions as we go into... this is the time that tries men's souls and women's. The speed round. Today, only men's souls will be tried. Okay, so let me go over the rules. This is a chance to earn 5 more points. To win the game, the panelist with the lowest points is automatically out. Here's how it works. I will ask a question. We're looking for the fastest answer and follow-ups. On an either-or question, if 2 players choose the same answer, the player who said it first gets to argue for that answer. The other player will have to argue for a different answer. The player who answers first gets 20 seconds to answer. The second also gets 20 seconds. And then each person gets a 10-second rebuttal. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right.
I want to nod as if I didn't zone out as those rules.
I was just dreading this format. It really hurt. It's really difficult, and I always screw up, so.
Let's play some speed round.
Junkies.
Okay. First question. You have to commute to work every day with one movie character. Who do you pick?
Iron Man.
Superman.
Iron Man and Superman. We heard Iron Man first. Can we get 20 seconds on the clock for Brett? The clock starts as soon as you start speaking.
Iron Man, you can either drive a really cool car or fly on the back of a really cool suit. Also, Iron Man is freaking fun and amazing and awesome and drunk, and it hasn't killed him yet, and he has drivers, and so you just have someone that's around who has access to so many assets that can take you there in an awesome way, a different way every morning. And I don't need this time. Take it away.
Okay. Great. Rebuttal.
Listen, Superman can also fly you there. He can fly faster than Iron Man, so he can get you to work on time. Also, Superman cares about you. Iron Man cares about himself, so Superman will get you to work on time. He will worry about taking care of you on the way there. He might even get you donuts. You can hear about his amazing stories about saving the world all across the universe as you get to work like that.
10-second rebuttal.
I don't need to go that fast. I just swallow bugs harder. And then Superman's just so boring. There's nothing about him, and all these stories are going to be stupid, and I'm not going to want donuts because his body's so good, and it's going to make me feel fat.
Okay.
Listen, you will be safer with Superman. He doesn't drink and fly, so you don't have to worry about any of the hazards of getting there. I don't even know if Iron Man can really carry people in his suit. We haven't really seen him carry people around. We know Superman's got you.
Okay, wow. All right. Time. Damn. All right, a DC Marvel battle. Darian, what are your thoughts on this argument?
Iron Man, he has carried people. He carried like 13 people falling out of a plane. So I think, I don't know. My opinion would be it'd be a more fun commute with Iron Man.
More fun with Iron Man?
More dangerous, though.
So you're going with DJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
No, Brett.
No, Brett.
That's okay. Great. Lon.
I think I gotta go with Brett on this one too. I think Superman's not as interesting a character as Tony Stark. He's gonna be more entertaining on the way. And yeah, we've seen them both commute people. They can both carry people. So I think I got to go Iron Man.
Yeah. Alex, any thoughts?
I think both are really good choices, but I think I heard better things about Iron Man, so I'd have to go with Brett on this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Superman. You started to win me over when you were talking about how he cares about getting you there on time, but I think Brett had a little too much. And one thing I really liked, Tony Stark has some badass cars as well, and he mentioned the cars. And so if you don't feel like flying that morning, you can jump in the Tesla, the Maserati, your choice. We're going with Iron Man. Brett gets the point.
Good luck showing to work on time with somebody whose main characteristic is he's a drunk.
Hasn't killed him yet.
All right.
Thanks for the luck. We are gonna need it.
All right. Second question. Better Millar adaptation, Kingsman or Kick-Ass?
Kick-Ass. I think you started first.
Dude.
I think I heard DJ with Kick-Ass.
Okay, DJ, you have Kick-Ass, and Brett, you have the Kingsman. DJ, you'll be going first. The clock begins when you speak.
Kick-Ass is actually about something positive, about the idea of becoming better, about overcoming your difficulties. Kingsman is actually kind of gross if you think about what it's really about and like the message it ends on. And so Kick-Ass subverts the thing that it's about, where Kingsman dives in and kind of makes it grosser.
That's not a word. Kingsman, I want to go to that place and be in that world more than I want to be in the Kick-Ass world. Kick-Ass world is so dour and dark, and those kids frighten me, whereas I want to be part of enjoying and living in that world with the Kingsman. Plus, I'd rather have as a teacher Clive. And the difficulties in Kick-Ass, they're just too raunchy for my taste.
10-second rebuttal.
Too raunchy. The Kingsman ends on an anal joke. And not only do you get a great subversion of the superhero world and a great look at becoming a teenager and actually trying to do that, but also you get Nicolas Cage, who's amazing.
10 seconds, Brett.
You can take your Nicolas Cage and keep him. And earlier, I proposed sex dungeon, so I'm fine with an anal joke. And in addition to that, Kick-Ass, I didn't like.
Okay, time. Darian, thoughts?
Oh, this is tough. They were both really great. I'd have to say, when you said I'd like to be in that world more, I think Kingsman is a safer, more fantastic world to be in than Kick-Ass, which can be quite brutal and sad.
Okay, thank you, sir. Lon, thoughts?
I personally really prefer Kingsman as a movie, but I think DJ had the much stronger argument on behalf of Kick-Ass. I got to go with Kick-Ass.
Yeah, Alex, anything to add?
No, I totally agree. I think just as a movie, I think I like Kingsman more, but I think DJ just had like a stronger argument with Kick-Ass, and yeah, so I've got to give it to him.
Yeah, yeah, DJ, I feel like your opening salvo painted the picture of the interpretations of these two films and why yours is superior, and that was not overcome by Brett. DJ, you get the point.
Yeah, I don't remember Kingsman as much as I remember Kick-Ass.
Yeah, I actually don't really like Kingsman that much. The church scene's dope, though.
All right, we are deadlocked at 4 apiece, correct?
We are.
Woo! Or 3 apiece. 3 apiece.
Three, good.
3
Yes,
apiece.
yes.
Yes. We are deadlocked at 3-3. It is hot in here. All right.
Got the vapors.
I get the vapors. Next speed round question. Question number 3. Who is the worst character from the new Star Wars franchise? Force Awakens and Rogue One. The worst character.
Donald Gleason's one.
Captain Phasma.
Captain Phasma. Dom Hall Gleason.
Hux. General Hux.
General Hux, thank you. All right, Captain Phasma, General Hux. Brett, you spoke first. 20 seconds begins whenever you speak.
There is absolutely no nuance whatsoever to this character. It's just Donald Gleason doing an impression of like a nasally British person, and he's just so whiny, and there is nothing to it. It's just like, ew, you're so terrible. I don't like anything that you've done. This is an impression of things I vaguely remember people doing when I was 17 watching the original Star Wars. Snoke, poke me.
Captain Phasma represents everything that's wrong with the Star Wars franchise now, in that she is just a cool costume. They hired one of the best actresses we have who can do amazing stuff on Game of Thrones, and she doesn't do anything except get beaten around. We didn't learn anything from Boba Fett of a character that just looks cool but does not literally do anything in the plot at all.
Rebuttal.
I'd rather have someone that does nothing than someone who absolutely annoys me in a role with so much damn potential. This is the person who runs the baddies, essentially, and he just gives us nothing. There is no nuance.
At least he's given something to do. He's able to yell at Kylo Ren. He's got a function. Captain Phasma literally exists to sell toys.
All right, wow. Strong on both sides. Darian, where do you land on this?
I have no idea who Captain Phasma is. I mean, and I've seen the movie, but DJ's point is actually correct. It's like
You may know her as Chrome Trooper.
Exactly. That's all she is. She hasn't served any purpose to the story. I have to go with you.
Okay, that's one for DJ. Lon, thoughts?
These were both really strong arguments on behalf of two characters that I agree are pretty weak
Yeah,
characters.
great choices. This
Yeah,
is difficult.
It's a tough one, but I feel like I just heard a little bit more from Brett about the lameness of General Hux, and DJ sort of had the one point about Captain Phasma didn't get to do very much, so I feel like I got to give it to Brett, but only slight edge.
I agree. I think you don't know either of the characters well enough yet, but I think we know a little bit more, or there's more to like about Captain Phasma, and I think Brett really brought a lot to the table of why Hux is kind of a lame character, so I got to give it to Brett.
Yeah, I thought Brett had a good opening salvo, but then I thought DJ more or less matched him with strong points, but Brett's impression and annoying us here at the table with his voice, as opposed to, hey, I didn't know much about Boba Fett. I don't know much about Captain Phasma, but I still think they look pretty sick. But you're so annoying. You get the point.
Wow,
That's my power. That's been my power today.
4-3, Brett, and we are going to question number 4 in the speed round.
So this is must win for DJ.
DJ.
Yes.
You need to take
is
this.
game point.
Otherwise, Brett goes home a champion, a winner.
Right.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right?
Having
Crazy.
a good part of his day. Let's stop that from happening.
All right. Gentlemen, which would you rather see? Joe Dante's Gremlins 3 or James Cameron's Aliens 3?
Cameron's 3. We said different
Yeah,
things.
you said different things. Who do we hear first? I think I heard. Who said Cameron?
I said Cameron.
I think I heard Brett first.
I'd go with that because I couldn't tell.
Okay. So, Brett, you're arguing for James Cameron's Alien 3, and DJ, you have Joe Dante's Gremlins 3. Brett, you go first since we heard you first. 20 seconds begins when you speak.
James Cameron delivers a world to us in a more complete way than anyone really has been able, or at least the other guy has been able to do. And also, I want to see him back in action doing something that I walk away from the way I did from Avatar, saying, like, here are like themes that I understand and people I understand and worlds that are created in ways that are unprecedented technologically and immersively.
Alien has been done to death. Cameron is not the same filmmaker anymore. He's gone into Avatar, Titanic land. He wouldn't give us the same movie. And also, Aliens is perfect the way it is. Gremlins, there's still so much potential. All the ideas they introduced in Gremlins 2 could be explored in Gremlins 3. We've never got any more Gremlins after Gremlins 2. There's still so much more we could do. Nobody else has touched it. It's untapped territory that I would love to see how they could expand from Gremlins 1 to Gremlins 2 to Gremlins 3.
Brett?
Bigger, longer, more ridiculous in Gremlins 3. It's just, that is, if you argued earlier, it's just a way to sell toys. Gremlins 3 will just become another way to sell toys, which is not going to get better than it was in Gremlins 1.
I disagree. I think there's so many different opportunities. The plot is so can go through so many different permutations. Where Aliens, we clearly can't do better because we haven't done better. There's been 4 movies since, and James Cameron will not give you Aliens again.
All right. Alex, tell us what you think.
I honestly think Gremlins is fine right where it's at, like back in the 80s. But I think personally, just based on the arguments, I think I got to go with Brett on this one. I think that James Cameron still has a lot of potential to give us something great, and I'd really like to see him go back to that.
Thank you, sir. Lon, thoughts?
Yeah, I actually disagree. I thought DJ won this one. I really like the argument about, Aliens sort of is this perfect capper to the series, and yet Gremlins is like, it was different both times. There's so much that hasn't been explored with those characters. So I feel like I got to go DJ.
Darian?
I have to go DJ as well. I really am not even a Gremlins fan, but the thing about Aliens is, it's been done to death, and there's so much more to explore with Gremlins right now.
Yeah, I thought Brett had a good opening salvo, but then I thought DJ just ripped it up, dinging James Cameron and talking about the potential, the untapped potential of Gremlins, and that felt like a knockout blow to me. DJ gets the point, and we're all tied up.
Oh, Christ.
It all comes down to this.
I got beat by Gremlins. You're right. I love Gremlins. That's a really good choice.
Gremlins is amazing. Aliens are basically perfect.
Okay, here is the final question. What movie villain has the all-time most fiendish plan? What movie villain has the all-time most fiendish plan?
Gone Girl. The lady in Gone Girl.
Ava in, Ex Machina.
Wow. All right. Those are definitely 2 choices.
When she said a girl thing, I was like, I'm gonna stay there.
All right. So we heard about the I'll go with how you presented it. The lady from Gone Girl first.
Rosamund Pike, correct? That's
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
Great. And you'll be arguing for Ava and Ex Machina yet again.
I picked it because she's intense.
Yes. Okay. DJ, you'll be going first. 20 seconds begins when you speak.
Listen, ending the world is hypothetically scary, but I have never left a theater more terrified than leaving Gone Girl. I felt like I needed to apologize to every woman in my life. The idea of, spoilers, faking your own murder, blaming your husband on it, the diabolical way she puts together, the way she's one step ahead of literally everybody around her in lethal ways is believable and terrifying.
Brett, whenever you're ready.
Ava's plot more directly relates to the downfall of all humanity by appealing to people's optimism as opposed to things that they've done that are potentially hurtful. The people who are in Gone Girl who get victimized are themselves partially guilty because of their actions. Domhnall Gleeson is not. He's just an innocent guy who believes in love, and that's more diabolical.
Ex Machina kind of diffuses itself by making her villain. It doesn't decide that she's a villain until the very end, and she doesn't really have a plan except, I guess, screw humanity, whereas Gone Girl's all about the diabolical plan that Rosamund Pike puts into motion.
Yours is just another scorn lover. This one has more wide-ranging implications about humanity, and it's more diabolical because you go more afraid of what she's going to do next, and is it you that she loves, and that's the ambiguity it leaves,
Wow.
which is worse.
Okay. Well argued, gentlemen. Darian, where do you land on this?
This is tough. I really like DJ's argument that what Pike does in Gone Girl is diabolical just by human nature. She's planning something, and Ava she kind of gets there by accident.
That's not the plot.
That's not the plot,
It's
but I don't think
100%
that's
on purpose.
Nah,
Proven at the end.
maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna go with DJ.
Sure. Lon.
Yeah, I think Brett did a good job of arguing that the implications of what Ava does could be more destructive, but the question is really about whose plan is the more fiendish, and I really feel like Amy in Gone Girl is much more of a fiend, and it's a more diabolically clever plan, so I think I gotta give the edge to DJ, but they were both great arguments.
Sure. Alex, any thoughts over there?
I actually haven't seen Gone Girl. But,
All right, thank you for chiming in.
I wish I had more to say, but
anything
well, I think DJ had a really good argument, but I think the idea of Brett talking about just artificial intelligence just being vengeful towards humanity. To me, that sounds a lot more terrifying, but I think I agree with that argument.
Yeah, the full wide-ranging plan, it did kind of sneak up on us in Ex Machina, and we don't know, do we even know her full plan? I feel like there's definitely there's some interesting territory there, but as far as like really hammering the question, the most fiendish plan, the most diabolical, as he said, DJ gets the point, and he takes the day. Wow, gentlemen.
That was really intense.
Across the board, I salute all of you. Lon, any thoughts from the internet on this stuff?
Oh, wow, they had a lot of thoughts on diabolical villains. Not
Yeah.
crazy about either of these answers.
Yeah.
They definitely
We went a little deep cuts with those.
there was shock that Emperor Palpatine at no point came up. His plan involves destroying entire planets.
Yeah, like world destroyer.
Yeah, so people brought that up a lot.
God.
You know, when you're under these hot lights.
It was such a wide
Exactly.
open.
It is.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I was like,
be
I was
anybody.
like, the
Those
things
are
that
killers.
jumped in were like, I guess we'll talk about it in After the Fight. If we're
Oh, there
doing
is
that.
no more
there is no
after
after
the
the
fight.
fight.
Yeah.
I was thinking like Scarecrow is just like terrorizes you with your own fears.
But he also wanted to poison the
Water.
Gotham's
Yeah,
water supply.
he's gonna poison everybody. But a lot of people also brought up Joker came up a lot, but then people were like, but he doesn't really have a plan. He's just kind of like screwing with everybody.
And that
He
Okay,
says he
yeah.
doesn't have a plan.
there
Might
you
be his
go.
bit.
That was tough. Those open-ended ones are rough in the moment.
Thanos? Well, I guess we'll learn the
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Ego. If you want MCU villains,
Oh.
Ego came up a bunch as
Yes.
like and Baron Zemo came up as like a diabolical.
Yes.
MCU.
Oh, yeah. Pit those guys against each other.
Yeah.
But well fought, you guys. DJ, congratulations.
Thank you,
You are
thank you,
walking
thank
out of
you.
here a victor. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you have going on.
You can find me at DJ Talks Trash every place that matters, or my podcast, Only Stupid Answers, everywhere the podcasts are listened to. We are going to do a live stream of the entire run of Defenders this Saturday at 9 a.m. on riff.tv/Only Stupid Answers for the first and last episode. If you want the rest of the episodes, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Only Stupid Answers.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's
Check
gonna be a
that
lot of fun.
out. Brett Ulrich.
My social media handles are all Brett Ehrlich. Twitter is for just really topical political humor. Instagram is for pictures of my cat that looks like a lion. And then Snapchat is for tasteful nudes. And then watch youtube.com/poptrigger and youtube.com/The Young Turks.
Very cool. Thank you, sir. And Darian Sills Evans.
You can follow my social media to see where I'm going to be performing comedy. And I also do a podcast called Race Man, and I just directed a movie.
Oh, congratulations.
That's amazing.
Well, I hope
like
to hear
how you
more.
toss
You'll
that
hear
out.
more about it. It's called One Bedroom.
Nice. Congrats, man. And thank you for making your Movie Fights debut.
I loved it.
Lon, anything to plug?
Just, you can find me on Twitter at LONS. It's very political. It gets political on there, so be warned.
I mean, those are the times we live in. And Alex?
Yeah, I'm also on Twitter, MooseBuddy89. You can catch me on there, just jumping in on conversations during movie fights and just all other Screen Junkie stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much why I created.
Thanhanks, brother.
Yeah, thank you guys for having
Be
me.
cooler if it was Moose Buddy 69. And I am Hal Rudnick. You can hit me up at Hal Rudnick on Twitter and Instagram. And check out today's Screen Junkies show that went live, where we get you caught up with all 4 of the Marvel Netflix series in preparation for The Defenders. So you can go in there and just binge the hell out of that stuff. You guys, great fights today. Andy and everybody at Screen Junkies, thank you for letting me take the wheel today. And I had such a blast. Thanks again to Lon and Alex and all you guys. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Thanks again to T-Mobile for sponsoring today's episode. Check out what makes them America's best unlimited network at T-Mobile.com/coverage.